Okay. Our last session here, before we wrap up, features three rare kidney disease volunteers. And we couldn't do what we do here at the foundation without our volunteers. We are a volunteer patient-led organization. Um, so we're going to begin with Vincent, I believe, a longtime volunteer. Then we'll hear from Jess Leong, who joined RKDF last year after the summit. She learned about the foundation after attending the summit. She reached out and she's been an invaluable volunteer as our social media director ever since. And then Sherry, who you saw earlier this morning with her sister Chris and her husband Dave. Um, she's also a recent volunteer, but has done amazing things in her community on behalf of the Rare Kidney Disease Foundation. So let me see who we have here today. Maybe we'll start with Jess and then go to Sherry and then see if Vincent can join us a little later on. So let me turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jess Leong. While I serve as a social media director for the RKDF, I'm here today first and foremost as a wife and a mother. Exactly 1 year ago, I sat where many of you are sitting now, attending the RKDF summit for the first time. I had spent the previous week in a blur trying to process my husband's diagnosis of AD-TKD UMOD. I came to last year's summit with a desperate need to understand, to find a way to support him through a journey that felt overwhelming and uncertain. And that summit changed everything for me. Hearing our researchers speak about their progress and their relentless pursuit of effective treatments didn't just give me information, it gave me a drive. For the first time since that diagnosis, I finally felt peace. I realized that we weren't alone, that we had a community that truly understands our reality. And at that point, I knew I needed to find a way to get connected. So my why is very specific. As of this past month, my husband's eGFR is at 54. So I'm fighting for him, but I'm also fighting for our three beautiful young children that we have. I know Dave was pretty emotional earlier, and I felt that when he was speaking about that with his kids and his grandkids, and I feel that so much too. Because of this genetic disease, there's a chance that one or more of them, our children, might have inherited it. I volunteer and serve this foundation for their futures, but also the futures of all the generations that will follow them. I want them to have a different story. I want them to journey with AD-TKD to be defined by the treatments that we are working towards today. Treatments that can preserve their health and their quality of life before the disease takes hold. So going from that, what makes RKDF so unique is that we are 100% volunteer ran. Every person behind the scenes has a personal connection to this disease in one way or another. We're a family, and like any family, we support one another. The leadership board has been an incredible pillar for me and my family as we navigate our new reality, and we want to offer that same flexibility to you all. As we've heard throughout this summit, our goal is unified. This is a time for action. No matter your background or your skill sets, there's a place for you here. Whether you can give 1 hour a month or 5 hours a week, we can use your talents. We are a flexible organization because we know that life with a chronic disease is anything but predictable. And if you aren't in a position to volunteer your time at this moment, you can still be a vital part of this mission. There are two different ways that you might be able to help us. One being donations. So every dollar that's given to RKDF goes directly back into educating nephrologists, attending medical conferences, printing brochures that help families find their way, and so many other things. Another piece too is digital advocacy. So with me working on social media for RKDF, I can just tell you that there's a simple click that can make such a difference. So you liking, commenting, sharing our posts can help us bypass algorithms and reach a wider audience. So if you aren't already, I really encourage you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn and help us make that impact. Your engagement will bring awareness, and our awareness then can lead to the funding and the research that we need to reach our goal of stabilizing and treating this disease. In closing, I want to thank you all for joining this summit. A tremendous amount of time and heart is poured into this event by our volunteers to make it possible each year. And we are deeply grateful that you have decided to join us. Together, we aren't just a foundation, but we are a movement working towards a better future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. That was very heartfelt, and we're just so glad to have you. Um, Sherry, why don't you go next, and then we'll go right to Vincent.
Certainly. Yes, thank you, Jess. I certainly could echo a lot of what you said. And that is certainly one of the reasons and the most important reason why my family and I were able to uh, jump in with both feet. And many of you heard our story earlier. Um, this is what we can do, right? There's not a lot of things that we can do to fix this disease, but it's our part that allows us to have some kind of hope that what we are doing is making a difference. And certainly, my role now as an ambassador team lead is to help get the awareness out there, to find those patients that many of these presenters have said today is the most critical. We need to find people for this FDA study. And so after diagnosis for myself, dialysis and transplant 15 years later, I saw Richard Nelson's post on social media. So that social media piece was huge in reaching our family and becoming connected with the Rare Kidney Disease Foundation. And so our hope is that we will continue to advocate and support its mission of halting the disease and finding these families. And so I chose to volunteer, and my family has jumped on board with me. I'm grateful that they have been a great support. Many of them have been watching today. I'm sorry. And not only my family, but prior to jumping in as the ambassador team lead, I was a teacher, and I had a great support through my teaching community. And they encouraged me and have given to the Rare Kidney Disease Foundation as well, because they knew how important it was to my family and I. And my colleague shared a TV spot that my husband and I did with everybody in our school district, which was quite amazing that there were so many people watching that TV spot. Now, as an ambassador, is that something that we are asked to do? No. But those are some of the things that I felt passionate enough to contact our local TV station and try to spread the word as much as we possibly could. And so the things that we are doing as an ambassador team, and certainly we would love to have anybody on board with us, can be as simple as just sharing your story with your nephrologist, your primary care doctor. If you have a dietitian or a pediatrician, if you have children, to share this information with them so that we can make sure that the awareness is out there throughout the whole medical community. I recently participated in a National Kidney Foundation kidney walk and wore my ambassador shirt that said, "Ask me about ADTKD." I'm not sure if you can see that on here, but I had a dietitian come up and ask me, "What is ADTKD?" So that started a conversation that really opened my eyes as well to the fact that it's not just nephrologists that we're reaching out to, but it's really any medical doctor that can be on board with us and be on the lookout for symptoms and family history of renal failure and get them on board with us to understand what Rare Kidney Disease Foundation is trying to do. We also have little stickers now that we can be putting on laptops and water bottles. If you're interested in one, my daughter made these up, and just another way for us to spread awareness and get the information out there, wearing our t-shirts, participating in transplant walks, and being willing to talk about and share our story. You know, initially, maybe it seemed like a private thing, but being involved in the Rare Kidney Disease Foundation has helped me become more vocal about sharing our story and finding people who we can refer to Dr. Blyer, and that's really what we want. So we would love to have you participate with the ambassador program. We need many volunteers. I live in upstate New York, and we certainly can't cover the entire country nor other countries as well, but we are trying to do what we can do. If you were on this morning, you heard my husband talk about his company and the mailing that we did to 500 nephrologists. That wouldn't have been possible without support from our community, and just trying to think outside the box and trying to find people that can support us and share our story and help us to spread the word about the Rare Kidney Disease Foundation and what we are trying to do. So we welcome you on board. If you would like to, you can contact me at Sherry at the Rare Kidney Disease website, and we will make sure that we get you on board with us.
Thank you so much, Sherry. Vincent, great to see you. I'm glad you could make it. Let me turn it over to you.
Okay. I started with the rare kidney disease after my wife passed away 4 years ago, March 1st, actually, of 4 years ago. Um, I have 6 children, 4 of whom have the kidney disease, have rare kidney disease, 2 of whom do not. In fact, one just received his second transplant about 2 weeks ago. So we're in the process of bringing him into Boston on a regular basis so that he can have his blood work done and everything can be checked to make sure he has no infection or rejection. I really started getting active in the summer of 2024 when I had a very enjoyable conference call with Kathy Stankus and Suzanne Kelly. It was really a conference call to find out what my background was, what my work history was, what professional experience I had, so that what skill set did I have that would be most suited in a volunteer effort. So I let them know that I would volunteer to do anything because I have a lot of horses in this race. Not only do I have 6 children, but I also have 14 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. So I'm very concerned about their association with kidney disease. So I thought that the more volunteering I could do, the more active that I could be in the foundation, the more I would know what was going on. I'd be kind of in the inside of all of the research, all of the clinical study. All 4 of those children who have the rare kidney disease are on the registry. And they meet with Dr. Blyer on a fairly regular basis. And every 3 months, they go into Boston in order to have their blood taken so that we can keep a strong monitor on what's going on with them. Getting back to that conference call that I had with Kathy and Suzanne, we decided that probably the best thing for me to do would be to be involved in writing and editing. So the first task that they assigned me was to write thank you notes to donors who had made contributions to the foundation. Very easily done. It didn't take very much time at all. There was an entire script that I could write onto thank you notes and send out. But mainly, my job became to critique some articles that were written in professional magazines and newsletters, and also to edit and proofread the variety of articles that were going to be put into the foundation newsletter. So that started in the summer of 24, and it kind of evolves over time to be really the exclusive volunteer work that I do now, is to edit, proofread, and kind of just clean up articles that people are going to put on the newsletter. We have a new newsletter coming out, I believe, in April. I've proofread and edited 4 articles so far. I have 2 more sitting in my folder that I have to get to, and I suspect that there'll be more coming along the way for me to edit and proofread. I enjoy that work a lot. It's right along the lines of what I had done in the past in my professional life. And what it does more than anything else is it exposes me to what's going on clinically, what's going on with our research. It makes me feel as if I'm not only contributing something to the foundation and other folks that have this disease, but I'm also learning a lot of things that I didn't know about the disease. So I'm hoping that whatever small contribution I can make to the foundation will help this next generation. I can't do anything to bring my wife back, but I certainly can help in seeing that my children and my grandchildren receive some advantage from any little thing that I can do as a volunteer. So I encourage, as Sherry did and everybody else did, I encourage anybody who would like to volunteer and be part of this foundation, a very active foundation, to join. It's very easy to do. And it does not take up a lot of your time. During the time that I'm editing, obviously, I'm going to be putting in more time and effort in working on the edits. But there are entire times during the course of the year where I don't have an assignment. So it's not a large amount of time that you have to dedicate if you're a volunteer. It's more a matter of commitment and love of the volunteering than it is time spent, to be perfectly honest with you. So I encourage anybody out there who would like to ask questions, or anybody who would like to volunteer, to go ahead and do so.
Thank you, Vincent, and thank you everyone for sharing how you found us. And of course, you are invaluable. Um, and I'm caught between the emotion that we all are feeling, because we are all doing this for our children and our grandchildren and great grandchildren. And I too feel that I can't help with the drug development. I can't do the science, but this is what we can do. And we heard throughout the summit how important our voices are as patients. And so, whether it's writing a patient story or is just saying, just join our Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, YouTube page, channel, just sign up and share. That's a huge, huge way to spread the word. And then volunteering, as folks mentioned, there you could turn out to be a social media director and still manage to do that while raising a family of young kids. And Jess has just done a fantastic job, and Sherry and Vincent fitting it into your lives. We all are patients, and so we have very reasonable expectations for what our volunteers can do. And it does feel, that's why I volunteered and then eventually became the executive director. I felt like I wanted to do something that I could do. And as Vincent said, it's as much time or as little time as you have. And we have so many roles. We are looking for someone to help with administrative work. We're looking with someone to help with the newsletter. We are looking for fundraising help. If you have any experience fundraising, either with corporate donors or Facebook, birthday donors or individual group, any little bit of advice or help can work. And then there's one-off tasks like, wouldn't it be great if we could put a postcard on RKDF and ADTKD into magazines that nephrologists read? We've had this idea for a long time. We haven't had the capacity to kind of move forward. We've identified the magazines, but how do we then find the people and make it happen? So we are full of ideas. We are open to new ideas. Come to us with an idea and run with it. So any and all interest, we will grab you and find a way to use you. And again, we are a family of families who know what it's like to live with this disease. You don't have to have the disease or be a relative to volunteer. We will take anyone who feels compelled or moved or called to do so. So with that, let me just thank you all again. And I'm going to turn it over to Rich in a minute for closing remarks. Thank you, Vincent, Jess, and Sherry for joining us.